Right, so UFC 308 has just finished. Let's talk about it. So to start off the card, we had Leal, a newcomer to the UFC, taking on Rinat Fakhretdinov. I can't say his name properly. I might have actually said it right then for once in my entire life. And what I put down for Leal is that he's the Brazilian Bronson. But also, he looked great on his UFC debut, and he got robbed. Now, I'm very reluctant to say that a fighter got robbed, but he literally did get robbed. One of the judges scored it 30-27 for Rinat, which makes no sense whatsoever. So I felt really sorry for Leal on his UFC debut, his big moment, and he got robbed. He should have won that fight, but unfortunately he didn't. After this, we had the middleweight division between Ismail and Naurdiev taking on Bruno Silva, and Naurdiev just comfortably won this one. Bruno Silva looked like he didn't want to be there. Naurdiev did great with his kicks and his grappling, and again, Bruno Silva just had the attitude like, I'm not that bothered, and didn't really want to be there, I think. So yeah, nice comfortable decision win for Naurdiev. After this fight, we had undefeated prospect Jared Basharat take on Victor Hugo. Victor Hugo had like a 7-pound weight advantage over Basharat, so you know it was quite a steep hill for Basharat to climb, yet he was able to win this fight. A very fun fight. That right hand, the timing of his right hand was absolutely spot on, had good grappling exchanges, a very solid performance for Basharat, and I can't wait to see more of him in the future. After this, we had the biggest fluke in MMA history, and that was the greatest heavyweight of all time, Chris Barnett, losing against Kennedy Nzechukwu, however you say his name. I'm not good at pronunciation, shut up. But yeah, Chris Barnett got injured in the fight, couldn't go on. I believe he did something to his leg. I can't remember where he did something. They showed it the replay when he was getting introduced by Bruce Buffin. He was doing like tuck jumps or whatever jumps they're called. He landed funny on his foot. And then again, his leg just ended up going. Kennedy was having his way with Chris Barnett. Still a flip. No, I'm not taking piss. Kennedy was having his way with Chris Barnett, and it probably would have got taken out of it at some point because Kennedy looked very, very sharp on the feet. A lot of teep kicks to the body. Was landing a lot of 1-2s, a lot of straight shots. So I think Barnett would have gone out there at some point. But yeah, he lost because of an injury that he had taken with his leg. Next up, we had a middleweight clash between Magomedov and Bruno Ferreira. Now I'm going to be honest with you, I missed a bit of a chunk of this fight. I was able to watch the entire first round where nothing really much happened, and Magomedov won the round. He was landing more clean shots, and Bruno Ferreira was on the back foot, wasn't really throwing much, which I did find was a bit weird considering Magomedov is known for having bad cardio, and obviously Bruno Ferreira is much shorter, so if you're a shorter fighter, surely you'd want to push the pace, be on the inside, but that wasn't the case. Magomedov was the one I was on the front foot. My second round, my box office pay-per-view went all funny, so I missed pretty much the entire second round, but it came back for the third round where Magomedov was able to get the submission victory against Bruno Ferreira, and it was very impressive. He was able to get the takedown. Bruno Ferreira got back up, and he just literally speared him like the rated R superstar Edge, and was able to get the submission victory over Bruno Ferreira. Very solid performance by Magomedov. After this, we had a lightweight banger between Rebecki and Orolbai, and I've been saying to people all week, this fight is going under the radar. And that's exactly what happened. This fight was absolutely insane. One of the Fight of the Year candidates, and round 3 might be round of the year in my opinion. Or maybe not, we'll see, because obviously UFC, what was he, Nosh, whatever it was fucking called, that had a great one between, I forgot his fucking name, Hugo and the other one. That was a great round, a great final round, but this one had a fantastic third round. You know, his Orolbai's out was completely pretty much closed. Rebecki hit him, dropped him, jumped straight on him. Rebecki covered in blood. The whole canvas was smeared in blood afterwards because it was just fantastic. It was pure cinema. If you're an MMA fan, you would have absolutely loved that fight between Orolbai and Rebecki. Two lightweight prospects going at it in a very stacked division. It was pure cinema. After this, we had an unfortunate one, which was RDA taking on Geoff Neal. I predicted that Geoff Neal would walk through RDA, and it was looking that way, but unfortunately for RDA, he suffered like a knee injury, unfortunately, but he did get dropped beforehand. Geoff Neal was landing a lot of straight lefts in the southpaw stance, and RDA, I don't know why he made this fight, to be honest. It was kind of a nothing fight, matchmaking wise, I feel like, you know, but yeah, it's just a shame to see RDA, a legend of the sport, go out with an injury at 40 years old. I'd like him to retire, but I'd imagine he thinks he's got a bit more in him rather than just, you know, retiring after an injury in the first round. And then to finish off the prelims, we had 13-1 Aslan taking on Cerqueira, who was an undefeated Brazilian prospect, and Aslan just absolutely smoked him within the first round. threw a left hook. I think that might have been the first shot he actually threw a left hook, hurt Cerqueira, he sent his eyes rolling a bit, and then just unleashed on him, and the ref stopped it. It was a good stoppage, and yeah, very good performance for Aslan. We then move on to the first fight of the main card, which was Shara taking on Petrosyan, and Petrosyan actually started off really strong, and seemed like he hurt Shara. Maybe didn't wobble him or anything, but he seemed visibly somewhat hurt. But after that, Shara took over with the leg kicks, with the shot, and we just got quite comfortable. It was still a close round, but maybe Shara ended up taking that round just because of his activity and output. There was a lot of output out there. And then in the second round, he was able to get the finish. He threw a spinning back fist and then spun in the opposite direction to land another back fist, dropped Petrosyan. I thought it was an early stoppage because there was no ground and pound to follow after. It wasn't like he was not clean out or anything, but regardless, it was a great little finish and looked fantastic for Shara, and I can't wait to see him in there again. After this, we had an interesting featherweight fight between Lerone Murphy and Danny Ige, a very close fight. I did predict it would be a close fight. I thought Lerone Murphy would win, but it would be a close fight because Danny Ige is very durable and hits like a truck. In that first round, Lerone Murphy started off, I think he got caught, then he started to take over. That entire first round was looking great, countered at one point with a nice little inside elbow which split open Danny Ige very early on, but then Danny Ige landed a big right hand and dropped Lerone Murphy, and yeah, that won in the round. And then after that, Lerone Murphy won the second round, and in the third round nothing much really happened. Lerone Murphy landed a couple jabs, a leg kick, went for a takedown, Danny Ige reversed it, and then Lerone Murphy, credit to him, off his back was looking for submission attempts, trying to reverse the position constantly. He was able to get up in the last 10 seconds, landed a little flurry, what probably won him that fight, and he got gifted. He earned the decision win. He was able to get rewarded with a decision win, and I agree with the outcome of that fight. We then had the fight in the light heavyweight division between Magomed Ankalaev and Aleksandar Rakic, and yeah, the UFC don't want Alex Pereira anywhere near Magomed Ankalaev. I love Alex Pereira. He's one of my favourite fighters, arguably one of my favourite champions right now, but I think Ankalaev would beat him maybe not comfortably, but I think he's got the style to beat Alex Pereira. And obviously, you know, he's not exactly the most entertaining. I don't think it was a terrible fight, but it definitely wasn't eventful. It was just an okay fight. Ankalaev clearly won as well. It was just a very solid fight. Remained on the feet for all of the fight pretty much. You know, he went at his own pace, picked his shots, landed the biggest shots, and went on to win a decision victory. After this, we got pure pain. We got Whittaker, who got done in the first round. Now, we all knew going into this fight, Khamzat was going to just steamroll through Whittaker in that first round, possibly second round as well. He's just like a train. He comes straight at you, and if you're on the tracks, you're fucked. Whittaker was stood still on those tracks. Khamzat got straight into it, took him down, was on his back the entire time. Whittaker did a great job after maybe about 3 minutes or so to get back up, and then Khamzat shot straight in for another takedown, relentless like Marab style, got on his back again and was able to get the rear naked choke where Whittaker tapped quite quick. I've heard little rumblings that apparently he dislocated his jaw, and people are like, oh well, he dislocated his jaw. I'd imagine Khamzat's the reason why he dislocated his jaw, and now I can't wait to see what happens with Khamzat, because I feel like everyone lost a bit of interest with Khamzat because he's been so inactive, and he arguably should have lost to Kamaru Usman, I believe, at least. And he just came in and beat one of the greatest middleweights of all time, first person to make him tap, and he's done it in the first round with relative ease. And now it's like, yeah, I think he deserves a title shot over Strickland. Will the UFC do that? I don't know. If you're the UFC, I feel like you have to put him straight in there, but I don't know how it's going to play out. And he has a serious threat to Dricus du Plessis, Sean Strickland, to anyone who's in that middleweight division. Khamzat is a serious threat, but it just still lingers about. If you can make it out of that first and second round, let's see what happens. But very impressive performance from Khamzat Chimaev, who shows he means business. And then the main event, holy shit. Ilia Topuria did it. Everything that he said he was going to do, he did. Apart from knocking out Max in the first round. But he still did it, but not in the first round. He did it in the third round. TKO, KO, whatever you want to class it as. I'll class it as a TKO. But yeah, this guy's a real fucking deal. I predicted that Ilia Topuria would get Max out there in the second round by KO/TKO. He did it in the third. Yeah, that first round I scored for Topuria. I've seen a lot of people give it to Max. That's fair enough. I completely understand that. I think you guys might be right. I think I might be wrong on that one. I'd have to rewatch it, but very solid start for Max Holloway, but it was quite close. Second round, Ilya took over a lot more. Max still stood his ground and still had a few moments of success, but Ilya landed the bigger shots. It was like a moment where he landed like 3 big shots within like a 15-20 second period. And then in that third round, he hit Max with a massive right hand. You could see Max Holloway's eyes like rolling to the back of his head. He was backwards against the cage. Couldn't really do much. Ilya was soaking in these shots, just ripping him in, digging him in properly. Went to the body like he usually. He wasn't throwing many body shots, but when he was just stood there, Holloway trying to cover up, he landed a couple to the body. I feel like you could see Holloway like go down a bit to it, but he was able to get off the fence. But it's just Ilya just stayed on him after that point. It was like, I know I've got him hurt, I can get him, and that's exactly what he did. He got Max out of there. And I just feel like Max could have moved around a bit more, but it's easier said than done when you've just been twatted really hard by a very heavy hitter in Ilya Topuria. Ilya Topuria he's so fun to watch. He oozes confidence. Oh man, I don't know what to say. This guy's the real deal, man. In his 20s, undefeated. I'd love to see him at 155. I want to see him take on a few more at 145 because he's got plenty of time to do so. Do we do the Volk rematch? Volk, I don't know if you fucking want that. I love Volk, but I don't know if I want to see possibility of Volk being out cold again. I'll be honest with you, and I don't. Oh man, I don't want to even go on to Max Holloway. Oh god, it just makes me upset, man. I love Max Holloway. I also love Ilya Topuria, but man, Max has got to go up to 155 now. He's done everything at 145, man. Go to 155 and see what you can do there. You're still only 33 years old, which is crazy to think about. Maybe 32. So. Yeah, I'd say Max Holloway go to 155, Ilya stay at 145, at least another 2 title defences, and then maybe move up to 155. I think that's quite fair. And for me, Ilya Topuria's fighter of the year. I know there's arguments for Alex Pereira, but I just think knocking out Volkanovski and Max Holloway in the same year, 2 of the greatest featherweights of all time, trumps over beating Jamal Hill, beating Yuri on short notice, and beating like 8 ranked Khalil Roundtree. Very impressive stuff by Alex. He finished all of them, but still, I just think Ilya's is a lot more impressive in my opinion. Like I feel like that's a harder thing to do, and I'd rather base it on competition rather just because Alex has one more extra win over him. But yeah, fight of the year I think it's got to be Ilya Topuria after that performance. That was great. The first person to ever knock out or TK or whatever against Max Holloway, which is crazy considering he's been in there with Dustin Poirier twice. He's been in there with Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway, Conor McGregor, Volkanovski 3 times, Aldo twice. You know what I mean? So, God, what a performance! I don't know what to say. I'm kind of speechless to be honest when it comes to the main event, but Ilya Topuria is some fucking talent. That's all I do know. And that's what took place at UFC 308 and some of my opinions on some of those fights. Let me know in the comments what you thought about UFC 308. Did you enjoy it? What was your favourite fight on the card? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.